Good morning, everyone. Michelle Lee here with Athena Rising Now, and I help ambitious, visionary women bust through their financial glass ceiling and skyrocket their confidence. Happy Wednesday! I'm so excited to be here. I just returned Monday evening from Australia, and it was absolutely incredible. And I want to share with you some things I experienced in Australia and how I got there and why it's so important for your financial freedom. Hello, Giselle. Hey, Jen, how are you doing? Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm still coming from a little bit of jet lag, sleeping in a little bit this morning, and heading out again tomorrow. I leave tomorrow to the National Organization for Women conference tomorrow for the weekend. Welcome home to you too, Jen. It was amazing being in Australia with you. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what opened up for me in Australia and why that's important. Something that occurred was, I knew that I would be going to Australia at the beginning of the year. We knew at some point, we knew that our trip for July was in Australia. And I remember being in January and just kind of thinking about it. Hey, Kim, and going, wow, I can't believe I'll be going to Australia, right? And those old fears coming up around what kind of investment that's going to take. Will I be making enough money? I've been an entrepreneur and a solopreneur for almost 2 decades now. And a part of that journey has been with the financial roller coaster and never knowing. But here's what I learned over the years, and I remember really making this connection a couple of years ago, going through my bank account and looking at my bills and making sure I would have enough. I would do that every month with a certain level of angst and anxiety. And I remember sitting at my dining room table just a couple of years ago and figuring it out, going, yeah, I have plenty of money to pay my bills. And thinking back over the years, thinking I've always had money, right? It always has come through in one way or another. I've always, taken the actions that have brought in the money without angst. And what I discovered was that I could have faith in my financial freedom. I could have faith in that. And when I was in Australia, I had to say yes to Australia in order for that, in order for me to go. I had to say yes before I had the guarantee, right? I had to say yes. I had to trust myself that everything would work out, that I could take the actions, that I could allow it to happen. I could take the actions that would create the opportunity, and that it would fall into place for me. And being in Australia, number one, really what going to Australia was never on my bucket list. It wasn't like, oh, I really want to go there. It wasn't like that. But getting there was so pleasing to my soul, is the only way that I can put it. There was an energy there that I needed to pick up in order to do my work well, in order to continue and grow myself, to support my clients and to support women in becoming financially free. We spent some times learning about the Aboriginals and their belief systems and how the world was created. And we were blessed enough to get to visit some of their, hey, Christine, glad you're here. We were blessed enough to be able to get to visit some sacred sites of the Aboriginals and actually witness their artwork. There's a special place in Alice Springs, which was where we spent a couple of days, that really honors, it's kind of like a museum, and it tells the history of the Aboriginals, and they sell their art there, which all of the money goes to the Aboriginal community. And I was in their store looking at their art, and I was watching an Aboriginal couple. The woman was obviously one of the artists. She had work there that she was selling, and her husband was kind of just standing around waiting for her. And I made eye contact with the husband, and I smiled at him, and he smiled back, and like the love just beamed from his face. It felt like when a baby smiles at you, that innocent love and happiness. That's how it felt when he smiled at me. And it did something to my soul, that human connection, and two human beings connecting, making eye contact, and seeing one another. I will never forget that moment, and learning about their history and what they do, and going to some of the sacred sites. We went to several of the gaps, and which were sacred sites. We went to where the women, the grandmothers, would bring the girls and the women and teach them their ways of the Aboriginals. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. And it was so alive. You know, we have the vortexes here in Sedona, but it felt different at these gaps. And we did, my mentor Karina did an activation there, and you could just feel the aliveness, and the ancient grandmother came through and really supported us. And the knowing that came through in that moment was that the Aboriginals had the foresight, right? They stayed connected to the earth, they stayed connected to the wisdom, but they had the foresight to know, and our souls knew, like, this day was planned, that we would come and gather up at a spiritual level the wisdom that the Aboriginals have been holding for us, to bring it to the entire planet. And part of what they teach is the abundant planet that you could trust for your needs to be met at any given time. And so that was so important. So I had to say yes. You know, a big key to my financial freedom is saying yes to these experiences, even though there was no guarantee, even though it was outside of my comfort zone. Going to Australia awakened in my soul wisdom. So when we talk about going to different parts of the planet, when you are called to go someplace, then you can't let money get in your way, is my point. You have to say yes. This is a big key to your financial freedom, is not being controlled by what your bank account says, and understanding that the wisdom that you have, everything you know now, is your source of creating financial freedom. The only thing that is standing between you and your God-given right to financial freedom is your fear of not being taken care of. It's your fear of making the wrong decisions. It's what I talk about as those 4 core wounds. And you really have to take yourself on and make it your commitment to heal those wounds, so that you can play a bigger game in the world. I woke up, I was born awake to my soul's mission, and gradually it began to make sense. And the more awake I become, and the more determined I am to saying yes to these experiences so that I can continue to awaken other women. That is my vision, to awaken other women, to make sure every single woman on the planet has access to her financial freedom, because only then will women be completely free. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Rhiannon. So this is what I invite you to do, because you are no different than myself. You are no different. You may be in the throes of feeling controlled or limited by your finances, but I want you to know that, I've been there before, and I had to make decisions that were very scary, that didn't make sense in the 3D world. Right? It just doesn't make sense in the 3D world, because the 3D world is created on limitation. It's created and sustained through fear. So you have to face those fears. You have to be able to say yes to your vision, no matter how scary it is. No matter how scary it is, because you don't know why you're being drawn to that. You don't know what you're saying no to when you say no to it. So I invite you to look at the opportunities that are before you now and fight for those opportunities, because they showed up for you for a reason. They showed up for you at this moment, even if it looks like it's not the right time. They showed up for you at this moment for a reason. And if you allow money to get in your way, then you have no idea what you're saying no to. You have no idea what you're saying no to. So if you have that pull, if you have something in front of you that you want to say yes to, I beg you. It's not the word I'm looking for, but I beg you and I support you in the biggest of ways to fight for your ability to say yes to that, because you have no idea what knowledge, what wisdom, what experience is on the other side of that yes, that your soul needs to fully and completely step into your soul's mission. So look around you. What opportunities are there for you that maybe feel outside of your reach? They're not out of your reach. They are not out of your reach. I remember, 4 years ago, wanting to hire a coach that felt outside of my financial abilities. But hiring that coach, I joke that I told her, I was like, I feel like I'm going to pee my pants saying yes to you, because I only knew how I was going to pay for the first month of coaching. I had the money. That was my guarantee. I had 1 month of coaching that I could pay her. But I made the commitment that no matter what it took, I would do it so that I could get her coaching every single month. And that moment changed my life. There was no guarantee. And if I would have told the people closest to me what I was doing, they would have been mad at me. They would have judged me. They would have said how irresponsible it was, because it was a lot of money every month. It was a lot of money. But now, 4 years later, I'm traveling to London, to Puerto Rico, to the Bahamas, to Australia to do my work. And I had no idea of that possibility when I hired that first coach. I had no idea. So I invite you strongly to whatever opportunity is in front of you at this moment that you are being called for. Do not allow your limitations to stop you. You have to be a yes. You have to go for it, because you are saying yes to your soul's journey. You're saying yes to your soul's purpose. I will check in tomorrow, possibly from the airport. I am heading out again tomorrow afternoon to go to the National conference for National Organization for Women. I am my Phoenix chapter's president, and I will be going there, working on the political side of women's financial freedom. It's really two parts, but the main part is knowing within you that you are worthy of financial freedom and that you are equal and you're willing to fight for that right. All right, Rhiannon, I have a personal issue that I want to say yes to and have no idea how to make it work, because I literally will have nothing if I do. That's the risk. I have literally, when I hired that first coach, Rhiannon, I literally had nothing. I paid her and that wiped out my money, right? So that's the risk I took. It's the risk I had to take. I had to believe in myself enough. It's believing in yourself more than the outside circumstances. It's taking that kind of risk, Rhiannon. So, all right, Sharon, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I am heading out, and I will see you tomorrow from the airport. Bye, everyone. Say yes to you, no matter how scary it is. I would not have been in Australia last week if I didn't say yes to the things that scared me and made a commitment to my soul's purpose. So I invite you to do the same, no matter what.